So here is one of the zinnia flowers. I just store it like this, completely intact, but the actual seeds are on the inside. I'm going to be cleaning up the garden over the next couple days, and so I want to go ahead and save some zinnia seeds for next year before I rip up the plants. All the beautiful zinnias that I grew this year came from just 2 flower heads that I saved seeds from last year from my mother's garden. So it's just incredible how many flowers you can grow from one plant. We literally have thousands and thousands of new zinnia plants available for us to plant next year. So I'm going to save quite a few, that way I can share with others. Well, I have a nice sack full of zinnia seeds. Now I'm just going to leave these in this bag so they can air dry. I'm not going to seal them off. That way they won't get moldy while they continue to dry.
Now that we saved some seeds, let's go ahead and rip out all the spent plants in the garden and get everything cleaned up.
I left the corn stalks, the marigolds, some rosemary, and the green beans and some of the other fall hardy crops like lettuces and things. Got that side cleaned up. Now, next project will be tackling all that. These are our 3 strawberry beds, so those are all still full, but I ripped out all the flowers that aren't still looking nice. I left the clumps of marigolds and some of the hollyhocks over there. This cucamelon vine died in the frost. Let's rip this out too. I'm going to leave these red Chinese noodle beans to continue to dry out so that I can save the seeds. I have a lot of the garden cleaned up for fall now. So now that the raised beds have some empty space, I can plant a few more things. Last fall, when we first made our raised beds, I planted some of this spinach here, and it popped up first thing in the spring around February, and it was wonderful. I ended up actually having an overabundance of spinach last year, and together we made some of that dehydrated spinach powder that we've been enjoying all summer long in smoothies and soups and different recipes like that. So I definitely want to plant some more of this spinach because it was quite tasty. The spinach that I'm talking about is the winter Bloomsdale spinach. Now this says that frost sweetens the flavor and that it can tolerate up to 0 degrees Fahrenheit. Now we typically don't get that cold here. Occasionally we'll drop down into the negatives just for a night or two, but it's really not that common here where we are. We're in zone 7A in Virginia, so the spinach should do fine all winter long. Now, last year when I sowed this, I sowed it in the fall and it didn't come up until the spring, but it was very prolific and it's definitely something I want to grow again. I put in a little Ziploc here because, or big Ziploc I should say, because my bag kind of busted on me. So I have the seeds floating around everywhere. I didn't want to lose them. These seeds look like that. They're just tiny little seeds. I'm going to sow a bunch of them here just along one edge of the bed. Well, I've got the raised beds at least all nice and cleaned up, and I got some of that winter spinach planted. Part of the fall cleanup that I want to get done is taking off this bird netting so that I can easily weed underneath the blueberries and the blackberries. I think I'm gonna have Ryan help me with this because it'll be easier not to get it tangled if there's two people. I think he's splitting wood right now. I hear him out behind the house, so let's go grab him. Well, I found Ryan. He was in the woods splitting wood, so it'll be nice to have an extra hand. I really like how these blueberries kind of turn this really pretty, vibrant pink color. Do you see that?
I haven't noticed that.
Here, let me show you guys.
I didn't know blueberry bushes turn red like that. They obviously didn't all do that. Some of them are still green.
Yeah, it might be different varieties too.
Must be.
Because each one of these bushes is a different variety. Ryan and I are going through and pulling all the grass out of this netting, or at least the majority of it. There was a lot of weeds. It was pretty heavy on the weeds. A few weeks ago, if you saw our video about the copperhead, then you know I was weeding this blueberry patch when I stumbled into a copperhead, which he's actually still dried up in this net. I'm not going to touch him. Ryan's going to have to pull him out. But I stopped weeding when that happened. So the other side of the net, I had fully weeded then, and it came up really easy. This side, the grass had kind of stuck to the netting and cemented it into the ground, so it was a lot harder to get out, and we ripped it in a few places actually as we were trying to lift it out. But it's free now. We just have to get some of the extra grass out.
So we were just talking, probably next time we were not gonna put any bird netting up on the blackberry bushes. Blackberry bushes really grew wild and just grew right through all the netting. So, and really the blackberries that were outside the netting seemed to do just fine. So maybe some birds were getting them, but there was plenty for us on this first year. So we'll just put bird netting on the blueberry bushes and just call that done.
Yeah, we also want to move these wood piles around the blackberries this winter and maybe reconfigure things just a little bit around there as well. So, yeah, there'll be some projects for the winter.
For sure.
Yep. Thanks for hanging out with me. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye, y'all.